Yo. Hello, my semi-aquatic friend. Yo, what's up, what's up? What is up, what is up? Latveria, hello. I said that right, what's up? Shroud X versus FlyQuest. Huh. Can't play the music, I think you put a mute because last time I got copyright striked, which is not fun to deal with. Because they use copywritten music on the stream. Woohoo! For whatever reason. Shroud X. So unmute the stream in like 3 minutes, probably. Just so we don't get in trouble. So I'd rather not get hit by the copyright strike, so keep it muted for right now. Again, they use copywritten music, so I have to keep it on mute. I don't want to deal with that again. Again, they use copywritten music, so I have to keep it on. I have to keep it on. I have to keep it on. I think we're good.
The sun is setting. The night is warm. Oh,
You
army.
are embraced by the sultry voice of a junkrat inside your house. It's Jake, motherfucker, and we got Uber on the mic. What's up, everybody? It's Rivals Fight Night. You didn't see it coming, did you?
It's going to be a separate VOD from... No, it's better be the same VOD as EU. Otherwise, we just got demonetized like that, bro. Like, matter of seconds.
We got the editors on overdrive. Get them bleeping it out before it goes live. No sweat. Don't worry about it.
Before we're even on broadcast together, I got us fired. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Jeez.
We're going to be talking about Rivals. This is a game
Demonetized
that's on your
speedrun.
computer, your Xbox, your nephew's playing on a PlayStation, and he's probably better. Some people came from the controllers. You'll see one of them still in use tonight from 100 Thieves. But before that, we have to find out who is going to play our NA champions. Will it be FlyQuest, or will it be the team that nearly took them down in our Week 4 final in Shroud X? Let's start here, though, with Shroud X. Uber, you remember this match because it kept us here all last Thursday. In the best way possible. We loved it.
No, I mean, I was here forever, but it was pretty awesome, right? Because this team was intergalactic like 2 weeks beforehand, right? So Shroud has had his, team sort of in the scene for a bit now, but this is the first time that they came out underneath that Shroud X banner. They take on a Shikigami roster who, we know are decent, but, I wouldn't call them particularly established, right? We saw them in MRI. They didn't really have the greatest showing. Shroud X, I think, got eliminated by them, right, in that tournament. They come back here, they dominate, they look fantastic. We're huge fans of Vision, and we're huge fans of what we saw from Nuxter as well. Dongmin looked incredible. This team was just really exciting. I'm like, okay, cool. They showed us some good Marvel rivals. Then they go and take on 100 Thieves, and the Thieves are forced to reverse sweep them in order to remain our champions. Shroud X came out of relatively nowhere, taking on one of the very best teams in North America and pushing them to the very limit.
See,
it just doesn't get any better than that. And yet I feel this week it might just.
Ooh, I like the spice. Shroud X coming in as our near champions. They're challengers here, and so are their opponents. Let's talk about FlyQuest, because
I need my goats, FlyQuest.
MRI. They
Please.
haven't been on a show that I wasn't traveling to the CDL during. So let's see them for the first time.
Let's go, Light.
Will
Light
he
my
truly
goat.
play Jeff for me, Jake?
I think that's more of a bait, but I do think what's not a bait is the potential that this team has. They were a team that took a couple maps off of 100 Thieves in the MRI. They're a real threat of a squad. Light on the duelist is, I think, someone particularly exciting to watch. Plays a lot of those high mobility flankers. Gaskin and Spark Chief together on the Vanguard are also an impressively dominant front line. And so from this squad, I expect to see a lot. The big question, though, is I think both of these teams are hungry for a rematch against 100 Thieves. Both of them want that shot, but of course, only one of them can get it. So this is one of the most exciting challenger matches that I think we've had maybe ever in Rivals Fight Night.
It's going to be a party. You've got Gaskin, we've got Spark Chief, Cooper-tastic, Zelos, Light or Energy. For me, it's been Energy on the Hella. I haven't seen a ton of sample size, but when I did, Uber, this guy was constantly in the feed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what this FlyQuest team puts out. They obviously have actually played against Shroud X before. They played against them back in the Marvel Rivals Invitational number 2 in the round robin stage. So they are pretty familiar with one another. Light, I know as a player going back years. I met him at a collegiate event in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where he was part of, Shadow Harrisburg, big fan of the Storm. He was a part of the Maryville esports team that ended up taking away that entire event. Really, really enthusiastic, hungry guy, just like a great mindset, I think, for the game, really driven. So I'm not shocked to see him, in a new game now, looking really, really good early days on this team. Remember, these are the very best players from like that early Shikigami, early Nightmare team, like all got sort of brought together after MRC Season 0, where we got a taste of what NA could offer. This team is designed to be that team to really put pressure on 100 Thieves. But Shroud X have already been doing that right here, the Marvel Rivals Fight Night, number 4 last week.
To keep up. Yeah.
That's it. Get busy, boys.
Jake, we got Muse22 in the chat saying, Light Spider-Man, let's go. I'm getting wrecked by a certain Spider-Men, certain spider people, the guy with the bandana who just punches you a bunch and iron fisting his way back into my lineup. Are either of those characters going to be viable at the pro level? Because we didn't see it at all from you.
I have seen a little bit of the Spider-Man Venom team up in previous tournaments, but it's certainly not the most popular approach. I think
What
it's
up, what
one
up,
of
what
those
up?
things that you can have in the bag as like a backup pick. You respawn in a close contested team fight. You come back fast in the Spider-Man and make some plays if you know what you're doing on the character and get a little bit of mileage out of that. But for Light, I'd expect to see maybe a little bit more emphasis on something like the
What up, what up,
Star-Lord,
what
where
up?
you're still able to help that front line. You're still able to like pump big damage and have a really impactful ultimate for opening up the map. But at the same time, you're not all in committed to the dive. You know, you have a little bit more versatility how you play, and honestly, maybe a little bit of an overall
See how this
stronger
goes.
team up
I hope
lineup
FlyQuest
that your
wins, my
teammates have to
goats.
choose from, especially
Light.
on the strategist front. So Zelos maybe bringing out the Adam Warlock, Light on the Star-Lord. That's the kind of combo that I'm expecting to see a little bit more of from this FlyQuest squad. But this is early days in Marvel Rivals. I still feel that there's a lot more innovation. We saw this in EU. There's been different takes in the meta, teams not mirror matching and showing that there's still a lot more to be learned and discovered. While in EU, maybe Virtus Pro is kind of running rampant overall. In NA, it's been a lot more contested. There's been a lot more competition to see what is the best strategy, like what is the right way to
Yo, what's
approach
up,
Marvel
Seb?
Rivals right now.
What's up,
No
everybody?
one truly owns the
Appreciate everyone
throne.
stopping
The
by.
King of the Hill continues here in North America. Before we jump into the game, I have a production challenge for our amazing producer, Solomon. Solomon, can you please load up a slow-mo intro? I was told by our original producer, Hexagrams, that my non-family friendly language needs to be replaced. We're going to do a quick reshoot edit. Whenever you got it ready, just let it rip, and Uber and Jake, you two take it away.
Okay, so what we're going to talk over that slow intro?
Yeah, we're just going to re-intro it for the North American viewers at home.
We're gonna get remonetized on YouTube, guys. We're gonna do
We're
it
gonna get
together.
remonetized.
The
We're just
power of
gonna edit
our
it.
little family right
Jesus.
here. We deserve to
With
be
the chat.
monetized on YouTube.
I just put Solomon under so much pressure.
I mean,
don't even
I think
know if
I
he
would
still
just take
has him
it-
loaded up.
I just set up for a sushi boat. Sorry.
Go.
The sultry sounds of a night breeze surround us as we come once again to the precipice of another Rivals fight night here among this collective of very good-looking and family-friendly broadcasters. It's Pocket, myself Uber, here with Jake. We're nice guys, but we finish first. That's how we do things here at Rivals Fight Night.
That's right. You may have seen us on Disney XD. We are your family-friendly casters, and we're bringing you some very quality gameplay. Marvel Rivals played on multiple platforms. Jake, we don't have a favorite, but we do love both of these teams. Let's start. Okay, was that good enough? Got it. Okay, let's move on. I think map number 1 is ready, Jake.
Bro.
Yeah, we got to see the drafts.
Royal
I think that's the
Palace?
opportunity
Okay.
For these teams to start to differentiate themselves. Last week, we saw Shroud X was consistently first banning Wolverine, which honestly, that's been one of the more common looks for teams to have like an opening ban. It's just, you know, these confident aimers just don't want to deal with Wolverine. They want to make the game more about aim duels and individual mechanics, less about that kidnapping and positional, you know, tomfoolery, frankly, that Wolverine introduces into the game. And so I wouldn't be expecting that to change, especially for players like Vision.
Are you
who
telling me
wanna
Wolverine brings tomfoolery into the game, Jake?
I mean, what else? What other word is there with what Wolverine's doing? He's got like the second life. He's like pulling you off the map. He makes a big loud noise and everybody dies, and I'm confused and scared. I want to ban him.
It's
I wanna ban him.
tomfoolery. You nailed it. You're right. Sorry, continue.
It's so good. I do hope like is it weird that I hope that FlyQuest blow Shroud X out so Light will actually just play some cheeky stuff and maybe just randomly like lock Spider-Man in, because I kind of listen, there's some pretty nice combos right now that are being used in Marvel Rivals to displace people, to get them out of position, right? We're often seeing like Invisible Woman used to yank people, as well as the
Royal
bionic
Palace,
arm
huh?
of you know, Winter Soldier.
See how this
Spider-Man can
goes.
do that really well, especially to reel people in out of position. So it'd be nice to get to see that, but the Wolverine is still a problem. We talked about it so much last week, and the proximity is crucial in this game because you have so much healing that, you know, is really about staying within the death ball of your team and benefiting from spam heals. If Wolverine can pull someone out, but also Winter Soldier, also Invisible Woman, if you can do that, you can pull off that abduction, you are able to shut down like the really robust healing in Marvel Rivals. So we joke a little bit about the Wolverine, but there are other ways of achieving the same goal that he's looking for.
We don't say kill on this show, but we do abduct. Jake, let's talk a little bit about some of your favorites, though. We're about to see map number 1. As FlyQuest got all the nervous pee out of their body, they have sat down. They're joining the lobby. We're going to Royal Palace. It's a domination map. So give me the goods here, Jakey boy. What are we going to see here?
I mean, I think if they do want to lean into the dive focus style, playing around somebody like Light, they could open with something like the Hella Ban. I think that's a strong tool for Shroud X. So I wouldn't mind seeing it attacked here in the ban phase. Shroud X, of course, no change, no surprise. A lot of teams have just committed to just being a Wolverine ban team forever. I do think this limits you just a little bit strategically. Like, it is better if you can use the Wolverine yourselves. It puts you in a better position with the ban phase. But instead, well, the Namor taking out first also signals an intention to dive, right? Namor is one of the best anti-dive options, but they're going to protect the Hella. Interesting.
So Wolverine ban.
Energy, 100% calling it right now.
Energy is playing then.
Servers. On the other side for Shroud X, Uber, what do we want to protect?
Namor ban, Hella save, maybe a Spider-Man. You can go dive. We're saving Loki.
Like keeping the Loki is fair enough. I think that
the Wolverine ban's interesting because FlyQuest doesn't really play both, from what I've noticed. Adam ban for Star-Lord.
Because you just don't get brought back to life easily because of that team up, but it's still viable. You can definitely still play it. Again, like
Root ban. This looks like a Spider-Man angle, honestly.
Combination available to you, which means that Hela can
Spider-Man, Venom, Mag. I'd be down.
When she gets them, so there's a really powerful synergy between those two that's not always explored because one or the other.
I think you could do it.
Vision and energy
or window. Sorry, Jake.
I was just gonna say Vision and Energy I think are gonna be the critical players to watch. The Hella duel with the team up, like you said, Mitch, we really rarely
is
see
this
this.
Koth? I didn't pay attention.
One of these heroes banned out, but with them both protected, likely to be a mirror match with how powerful, how potent.
I think it might be Spider-Man.
Loki can individually make
but
so
you might
many
play
plays.
Bucky
Such
here.
a high skill ceiling strategist, right? Like just so many
Doomed
opportunities
plays Bucky.
to outplay or pump massive heals, do tons of damage. The flexibility of
Slight
that
play Winter
ultimate
Soldier.
is always nice to have. And also without the Namor,
I don't know if he
it feels
does.
like
I think he
Hela
does.
is a must pick here and kind of a must
It
win
is
in some
Koth,
of these
okay.
more wide open maps. And Light right now is hovering the Black Panther. It's a little bit of a bait, but I have seen Black Panther do crazy things in Marvel Rivals. I'm not too skeptical of this. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, he
Do it.
obviously feels a dive shot.
Oh, this is Spider-Man.
Effectively,
No?
right? Providing that he's
What?
continually like able to attach the vibranium marks, he can really run straight through you. It does require a little bit of setup here. It can be hard to pull off, and you do need, I feel like, the Venom to go.
Spider-Man, I knew it.
But FlyQuest, alright, Light, do you have the stream on right now, bro? Okay, bro, it's time.
Look at that map position. He's already here. Going for a flank.
There's nothing else to really combine with this in the dive sense, but you see Light.
Show me Light.
To wrap around.
Almost one taps.
And with the Venom combo, the Spider-Man's a huge threat. They're just barely able to keep Vision alive, though.
Why is this quality so
first
poop?
dive doesn't kill. Now Shroud X has a bit of a window to poke back.
Vision here, of course,
Quality.
Has a bit of a window to poke back.
Vision here,
Has a bit of a window to poke back.
Vision here, of course, definitely someone to
Quality's
watch.
so bad.
Pretty deadly. We do, of course, yeah, have that Venom combo. So team up activated between Spider-Man and Venom, which is pretty big for Spider-Man, especially. Having that constant damage and knockback when you get close is really deadly. A lot of pressure coming down here, of course, onto the Winter Soldier, but Doom just getting the healing when they need it. Philonuck able to throw it out, and of course, you
Look, he's
have to
getting
team up
spun
here
around.
for the Winter Soldier. Giving that infinite ammo to Rosterstern in a pinch is a very powerful move.
Good hook by Energy.
And the rest of FlyQuest, I mean, they're kind of just
Saves
waiting
because
for
of
the dive to
the
work, but they have no
jump.
way to break through this double Vanguard setup.
Light
until
managed
they
to
find
get
the big
one.
Rocket isolated though, and hold on, that's two strategists going down. Only one can be
On
red,
Light.
so power play here for FlyQuest.
Yup.
This is what Dive needs to create that player advantage. Spider-Man
That's my
finds
boy.
another. Now they're sweeping over the point. It's a
Yup.
retreat for Shroud X.
Yeah, Light just killed Fiddle twice in quick
This is
succession. Obviously, they were
hard to
both
analyze
fight for that
because
BRB 3D printed
the
in reality, and Light was ready to deal with this
Spectator
right
isn't
away.
really
And it's a rare thing
spectating
we
the
just
best.
saw. Both strategists die at
Getting
the
a good
start of
off
the
angle
fight.
here.
And all of a sudden, that incredible, healing throughput that Marvel Rivals is mostly known for.
Good little
completely off the
third-person
table for
peek
Shroud X.
advantage right here.
It's a very powerful
what's going
strategy
on.
against their double shield comp.
It's a lot of pressure on Impunity to have the perfect bubbles on Magneto. You need to be saving those supports, turning
They're
around the
playing a
dives,
little
but
bit
now FlyQuest
safer
have
now
a few
because
ultimates
they're
online.
aware of
Their
the
dive can
Spider-Man
become
Venom.
exceptionally more potent.
No. Where's Impunity at?
Oh.
No.
Oh, the pain.
Okay, in fairness,
Tragic.
didn't this happen to 100 Thieves and Favorite
Yeah.
Shroud X last time around?
Exactly. Maybe this is the karmic return here as they're trying to get Impunity back into the server. Big pull in by Light
That's
onto
unlucky.
Doctor Strange, but I think Shroud X I think the best thing they can do is just hold on to ultimates and try to get the reconnect. 5v6ing so incredibly difficult here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you obviously try and buy a bit of time for Impunity to get back into the fray here. Okay, well, spectacular spin now available here for Light. You notice that abduction from Get Over here, pretty bloody powerful, and Doomed is
He got back
brought
into the
down.
server good.
That's Light able to move in there with that team up ability, able to do a little bit of damage. That suit expulsion looks very odd when Spider-Man goes in with that. Shroud X now get Impunity back. He's returned to the server, folks, and is close to a Meteor M.
This walk-up is the most dangerous moment here for ShroudX. This is the spot they're looking to get dove. Venom already in, taking a lot of aggression.
Good M.
Meteor M,
They land
protecting
it.
people for now, looking for a one-shot, can't get the connection. And Vision also forced into an ult.
I don't know why the
defensive here
quality is
from
so
Ella.
trash.
And always where you want to be, but ShroudX, of course, are happy to use kind of all of their ultimates here in order to try and get the point back. It's a big investment, but it has to be made. I have Agamotto, the only ultimate that they go without using, and it is a very costly flip, but at least gets them in a position.
The quality of the stream is on their side, not mine, by the way.
Picks, but that's absolutely what FlyQuest's comp is a little better at doing.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive win because, yes, you know, it's only the Doctor Strange ult and the Winter Soldier ult,
What the?
but, you know, with no defensives here from FlyQuest, it's going to be very difficult to not give up any resets. And they don't really have a great tool to push away that Doctor Strange. Dongmin could make a huge play here.
Yeah, how much can you do about this Kraken impact here from Dooms? It's going to be a little bit difficult to counteract.
Really
this.
good Eye of Agamotto.
What an Eye of Agamotto from Dongmin. That is absolute
That's insane.
filth. At least 3 players, maybe 4 caught by that. And behind that, ShroudX can now develop their strategist ultimates. Yet again, a successful one-sided fight in which they get a lot of healing ult charge. Gets them halfway.
Yeah, FlyQuest, at least on the walk-up, they should be able to farm this Raccoon ult. Maybe that's enough of an opening to get them in, but they don't have a true defensive, right? That's the risk of running Rocket Raccoon is it's not a defensive ult, it's an aggressive ult on the strategist, one of the few. And so we'll see if that ends up paying off for them. Aggression from the dive, looking to take some of the attention off the front line. But these double Vanguards for ShroudX are really scary, really difficult to deal with.
That was a really nice freeze that came in there from Cooper on towards Vision, but he's able to use the Crow form to get away. Spark Chief hoped to capitalize, but they'll force the hell out of that sight line now and force ShroudX to play in the choke mostly. Here's that Meteor in from Impunity. Good pressure. Cooper does get flattened. Light's able to find one. Gaskin's going to be returned to the fray, but ShroudX here, after having to spend so many
it's just the quality of their stream. I don't know why.
Now in the precipice of taking the round away, Spark Chief can only try and stall through this overtime if he could, and ShroudX are looking good for it. Gaskin's so low. ShroudX are going to take away Royal Palace.
Yeah, the dive doesn't come to fruition here. I mean, so many times we see the Spider-Man and the Venom coming in, trying to get a burst kill, but it's just so difficult. ShroudX, the duelists, the strategists are so aware of the dive threat. They're so ready to protect one another that more often than not, you're just seeing Venom, Spider-Man forced away. I mean, it's very risky to all in commit for those picks, especially when there's so many saves, so many escapes available for the comp. And then you've always got doomed on the Winter Soldier, dropping 11K that round. A lot of that is on the Venom, just like grinding out the Venom, forcing him out of the fight very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, again,
It's
you have
just
that
like
nasty upfront damage. And it's pretty tough for Venom because Winter Soldier, as much as he has good damage output, has
having
2
both of
forms
these
crowd
characters
control to employ.
into
Technically
this.
3, but has the
On
backup with the
paper,
dash, but also the bionic
the
arm.
dive
It's
comp
really
should be
difficult
better
for,
than
you know,
this,
someone like Venom to deal
but
with
it's just
that
the
amount
fact
of
how
CC, and it's
strong
all just on one hero.
uh,
Not to mention the rest of what
these
ShroudX
two
is comp
characters
able to do,
are.
like freeze you up, of course, with the Lunar Snow. There's so much to work with there.
It's
Yeah,
like
this
very
might make
hard.
it a little bit more open for dives. Nuck really about to play Scarlet Witch.
I wish. I mean, maybe
giving the
it's a
team up.
for Impunity.
Good
Give him a
next level
sword, baby.
troll.
Oh.
Oh, does he? That's actually wait. This is Giga Brain. They go Scarlet Witch to activate the Magneto team up. He casts it and then he swaps off the witch because they're already into the fight with the Strange Portal and he's able to
Gives
get
extra
there.
damage.
Because that Magneto sword form actually lasts for like a pretty unbelievable amount of time.
I need
A
light to
touch
go
fusion.
big
It's
here.
like 8 seconds or
Show me
something absurd
something.
like that. There's no direct timer on there, but the range is
Ooh.
actually kind of crazy. So I like the idea.
Really good
However, energy
shot.
going to go down. Vision now causing some problems.
the res,
here.
though,
You note that there's of course a
doable.
Goddess of Death available for them right now. FlyQuest sitting on big ultimates here,
Gash.
Jake, but ShroudX, if those they can get their Fidel's out of the fight there, that's rough. Light brings them down, but Fidel can return here with that
Two
fight of both
ults.
worlds.
Big damage here, bringing down from the hell, but they're able to focus fire through that Goddess of Death incredibly quickly.
That one
Dongmin
probably
bringing out some
eyes
support
here.
elements, would love to find a connection with the Eye of Agamotto. Not much to write up home about here, and FlyQuest are running circles around
Nice.
ShroudX, who are getting wiped off the map. It's going to be an easy first cap for FlyQuest.
Good
A bit
resets.
expensive in terms of the ultimate bank, but they're going to be feeling pretty good about this.
Hope we
Cost
used
ShroudX a lot
1,
too, Jake.
2,
Fidel came back
3,
into the
4
fight with the
ults.
BRB and instantly popped that Lunaso ultimate. It wasn't really enough, and Eye of Agamotto
Used
also
4
was
ults there.
committed. Light was able to
Worth
go in
it.
and actually take the Lunar Snow out, and I think if there are consistent picks here from this Venom Spider-Man combination, it's going to be hard for ShroudX to
Actually,
leverage,
we also
you know,
use
any ult
Spider-Man,
advantage that they
so-
can build later in the round.
5.
FlyQuest want this dive to be explosive. Here's the Sia
Big
coming
dive.
out, diving into the backline with the Venom, but very deep here around the corner, and the focus fire comes right back. Meteor M denies any follow-up from the backline, and Shroud X easily deals with that dive.
They dove into the rocket ult, so he just got shredded in a second.
Any of those key strategist ultimates, so they likely are just going to give this ground up eventually at the cost of Gasklin here. They're going to be brought down, potentially return to the fight here with the BRB, and they are, but again, there's just not enough personnel for FlyQuest to work with, and they lose point control. So now, if they don't regroup quickly, this could get out of hand.
They've got time to reset. No ultimates on the field just yet, so both teams looking to take a bit of a poke trade, but I think Shroud X, they love that situation. It's more difficult, I think, for a FlyQuest to take these extended fights to get open into the map. Maybe dancing around, trying to pressure point could help them.
Nice.
Ooh, nice find, though, by Light, though. Getting the BRB down before
got
the
the
fight.
res.
Any pick he does find will be permanent.
Yeah, and now no one is looking at Light right now. I think there was an opportunity to go after Fidel, but Light has other ideas. In fact, seems to prefer to double back right now. You notice there is a little
We're sleeping.
Light obviously able to track them. Also
happens.
Hidden passive, of course. Spidey senses will tell you if someone is close by you, but often it's more obvious than not. In we go. Looking out of pressure down this Lunar Snow. Ice Art's popped by her, but the damage is going to be extreme, and there it is, that super repulsion. Able to get good damage, but Fidel survives and builds that ultimate.
I don't understand how people play Spider-Man. It hurts my head.
Now Doom finds the first elimination onto Energy, looking for more on the reset.
That was a nice move there.
Getting a very late grab here. Magneto in big trouble.
This is pretty scary now. Cosmic Yarn Amplifier is active. Vision goes upstairs here before it got us to depth, but the sidelines aren't actually that good.
Really good line of sight by Cooper.
Here, but so much action is happening below. Gasklin does get caught out, though, as Dongmin at least is going to return to the fight. So Shroud X...
He used Bird, so the Spider-Man's probably going to dive and ult in. Yep, beautiful.
Spectacular spin being used here, but great bulwark applied to Vision.
The bubble's really good.
Most of that Spider-Man damage, and an Eye of Agamotto from Dongmin catches onto 2. The Maelstrom follow-up allows him to find that Winter Soldier. And Shroud X have a DC in the first round. Don't forget, Impunity is out of the game for 30+ seconds. They bring him back, they win the round. Now FlyQuest trying to desperately stay alive in this first map. This Shroud X team showing that last week was no fluke.
And Dogman is just holding the door here, denying anybody through. Anybody who does come touch the point is just immediately dealt with from the overwhelming focus fire that Shroud X brings to bear. And this is going to be map 1 going their way. Strange portal down, just rocket desperation, stalling it out. They did res the Venom, though. Hold on, it could be an opportunity to stall a little bit more, but
I saw the idea of the Spider-Man Venom dive. I just think it's like unlucky. No?
Frankly, it just fell flat. I mean, there's just way too good of a response from Shroud X.
I really want it to work,
but...
but...
How to answer this strategy. There's kind of a reason we don't see so much Spider-Man at the highest level.
Yeah, I was asking for it, right? I was kind of saying I wanted like FlyQuest to maybe have a bit of fun and troll with it in a situation if they get super ahead in this series. But we've got to remember that Shroud X are probably one of the fastest rising teams in this region and already put on a great game for us last week. Here, look, I think it kind of speaks for itself, right? I mean, Light is not able to really do enough here. You know, obviously being out damaged by Gasklin and you know, Vision and Doomed are obviously going to have very solid games on these picks. It might be time to respect the fact that against top teams at this level, Spider-Man just isn't going to cut it.
And we've also seen so much of this from Shroud X. Like when they're playing these corners with the front line, with the Vanguards, you make one little misstep, they sense that they have a bit of an advantage and they are willing to just absolutely int you down into the spawn. A lot of times we're watching those dives and sure, Venom and Spider-Man are taking some attention and causing a distraction. But honestly, the Magneto, the Doctor Strange for Shroud X are just charging forward. They're cleaning up the enemy backline and you have very limited time to make that play work as the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man didn't work, Muse 22. You got him. You saw him. You probably won't see him again. But honestly, Rivals by Night. This is your weekly test of the current meta. This is the place to try things out. So I respect it. Don't go to what you saw the week before. Try new things out. And this is a great place to go against some of the best on the planet. FlyQuest down in a 0-1 hole despite a short disconnect from Impunity. Jake,
I see this.
5 on the Shroud X team. Do I just tell them we don't need you to win?
I mean,
okay.
I don't know if your last two months they tell Impunity that all the time.
They're definitely talking
like Moonknight.
for sure, but
we don't even need you, just like Spider-Man.
Okay.
Look at his 2 highlights.
I mean, not a whole lot like to say to me. Obviously,
okay.
it was beautiful. That's quite where, like, you know, Shroud X are already on the back foot. And here they come back in, right? Dolan hits a freeze ball
Oh.
play by Agamotto, which is really astounding. It's just been,
Oh.
if you can see the dive team, right? You can come at them while they're still looking for a way in, just sort of jockeying for position.
Hold on.
They lose the impetus entirely. I mean, you have to constantly take the initiative with this sort of Venom and Spider-Man composition. If you can't do that, then you're in trouble because it's really hard to kill healers, right? Especially when one of them is Rocket Raccoon, who just is very slippery and very hard to catch. Can to put down a 3D printer to essentially nullify the first kill of a fight, that is the big issue, right? And the other one is Luna Snow, who has great speed if she runs away from you, a self-heal in ice arts, and then the ability to freeze you solid. I think that that combination of factors means it's really hard to try and play Spider-Man, who
I can't, bro. What did I
going for one kill, let alone
bro?
You can't go 1 for 1. Not against Rocket Raccoon.
I like that call out. Jake, we kind of saw some interesting bans coming in the previous matchup. Over in Europe, Luminosity, the one map they won against Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro's only loss in their entirety on Rivals Fight Night was when they got rid of a Luna and Invisible Woman. Do you think that we'll see teams go with that ban? Because I feel like most compositions are based around one or two, if not both.
I think if you really want to play dive, maybe you do want to attack the strategist lineup. There's just so many difficult threats you're dealing with, right? In that last game, you've got Hela and Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier with the hook, Hela with that stun. Both of those are incredibly dangerous for somebody like Spider-Man. I mean, if you get hit one time by one of those lockdown skills, you're probably dead on Spider-Man. And the flip side is that, you know, you can go on Hela time and time again. Why does it move like that? Gonna get bailed out and saved. And
why does it move like that?
At this level are so aware of the dive threat, they're constantly able to respond to. You're not really going to be catching people off guard, unawares, like they're ready to help their teammates. And that's, I think, going to be the challenge here.
Okay, so she gets a charge.
You need to see that backline get a little bit more into the engagement.
She places a barrier.
Than the Winter Soldier for them, because I think
it then attacks it. It hits that, does damage as well.
I think playing for the team fight
but
is
like
not really
does
gonna work if you're gonna be
double damage.
Double on the individualism and the opportunity to make pop-off kills.
She has a shield she can place, then she can shoot through it, but enemies can't. And it looks like with that barrier up, as she shoots, it empowers her damage. You can block.
Let's manifest something right now. Who do you want to
her shift, she becomes invincible for 5 seconds. Her CC immune takes reduced damage, it looks like. It then grabs men.
I don't want to see Loki, honestly. I kind of hope that at some point Wolverine escapes the ban phase. Just give me one.
It's not happening, man.
Damage pulls, taunts.
Marvel Rivals Enema type vibe. Just clean me out, give me something a little, you know, and then we go back to business. It's fine. I will do the chop wood carry water, clock in my cubicle, and have Wolverine banned all day. Just give me one map, bro.
We do. Wolverine is pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Like on the spec cam, it's pretty wild and crazy. They're gonna protect Adam Warlock this time, maybe tempting a Star-Lord ban from Shroud X. I don't think you want to give up this combo unless you're gonna run it yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially unless you're trying to play triple strategist and you know, make use of like Adam Warlock and still like have that single DPS, that single sort of duelist Star-Lord, right? I think you can go that way, because that's the risk of Adam Warlock sometimes, is that it's a lower throughput secondary strategist to have. Sometimes you don't have like the ridiculous throughput that you need.
help the group.
Oh my god,
could
my
be doable. This
screen
high
has
ground is an
been...
especially
Has my
bad
screen
position
been
to
blank this
spam
entire
down on the
time?
point front.
L streamer.
Okay, we are going to be meeting here
Sorry,
in a
sorry,
very
sorry.
specific part of the map, just on this right-hand side. Kind of voltage being thrown in here, decent damage, and now, of course, well, we can do this forever. Doom just holds
My bad, my
M1
bad.
for the boys, and here they come. That is scary. Shroud X mow down FlyQuest as they try and group up here.
My
Again,
bad.
they are looking to try and play a dive comp, and meeting them in these close quarters is the best way to deny that ability to access their backline.
Yeah, and I mean, FlyQuest get a quick cap. They get 16%. It's something. It's a little bit, but it's not really enough to make getting dominated in the team fight worth it that way. Shroud X are going to have a bit of a lead on a lot of the ultimate charge. And I wonder for FlyQuest, will they be able to retake this point? Hold on, Vision has got to be careful, though. Getting a pick on the Hela would really open things up. This is not only one of your highest damage dealing characters, it also has that critical stun. The lockdown onto Spider-Man and Venom really limits their aggression.
Okay, oh, bloody, that is perfect.
Sheesh.
So much more than that. It was the bloody Lunar Snow of all things. Impunity throws up a wall and denies FlyQuest the ability to get away. Their comp, Jake, doesn't even afford them access to the group. They're trying to play this sort of dive shell, which means that, God, I mean, with Shroud X taking the fights where they are, Groot is getting so much extra value from the walls that tend to line these small corridors. And God, I mean, taking the Lunar Snow down first is massive. We're close to a strangling prison as well, and FlyQuest need to show us something special to break out of what feels like a chokehold.
Yeah, and with this Groot constantly cutting away the resources, like this Rocket Raccoon can't even come into the fight. Yeah, good luck 1v1ing Vision. He's trying to dance around. He's doing pretty well, actually, holding some of the aggro, staying alive. Support Ulti's coming down for the moment. Gaskin trades 1 for 1 now. Cosmic Guardian Flare coming down for Shroud X. They try to double down to win this fight, but FlyQuest up to a pretty significant player advantage. Those jukes from Rocket Raccoon pay dividends.
Yeah, pretty nice. In fact, both strategist ultimates committed to this engagement by Shroud X, and they still don't necessarily come out of the fight victorious. Definitely not unscathed, that is for sure. Impunity going to go down as energy now returns to the fight, and Shroud X are more than happy just to buy a little bit of extra time on this point. Give them time to get back into the game, of course, with some of those strategist ultimates of their own. Vision's going to come back with the Goddess of Death. Could be crucial in a pinch here. But FlyQuest have those big ultis ready with their dive setup.
They're intentionally not killing Donovan for a long time, getting a lot of extra cap there. It's something I do like to see from FlyQuest. Eking out those little extra free percentages means a lot. Dongmin, it's going to be a while till he's back to the fight. The way Shroud X have been playing, I mean, they really want to be 6-stack. They want to wait for everyone, so this is going to delay their whole team. FlyQuest with some big dive ultimates as well. Venom and Spider-Man. No defenses to deal with this. It's going to take perfect coordination for Shroud X to weather the storm.
Okay, Cooper just insta-died there. Vision's able to push up on the flank and find a pick. Thank God for that BRB. Cooper, though, has been spotted yet again. Vision just does not let up. Constantly looking to pressure that Lunar Snow across the map. And this is before FlyQuest have got their dive comp ready, but in they go. Cellular corrosion used. Vision has to get out with a crow here, but Fidel falls. Light comes in with a spectacular spin and guarantees 2 kills. That's even after Vision was able to escape under that crow form. FlyQuest just need to hold the point here. Don't give it up for free. They might have lost energy, but there's still every reason for them to be confident going forward. Doom's going to be bulwarked up here as the Meteor M whistles past his left shoulder, but Fidel's Ice Arts will claim Light. Here's Dongmin over the top. Most of that screened out, though. The Meteor M not quite connecting, and FlyQuest are still getting extra capture percentage.
Good hook by
Beautiful
Doomed.
bionic arm there. Was probably hoping to get Gasplin down the pit as opposed
still
to
running the
pull him out of
dive
position, but
comp.
still, it's very disruptive for this Magneto to try and contest here. But FlyQuest is still in control of the point now. Fidel going to come in with the fate of both worlds. There needs to be a cleanup here. FlyQuest now down to their dregs. Finally give up the point.
And it's going to have to be maybe a strange portal contest here. Desperation mode for FlyQuest. For Shroud X, though, they want to hold on to some of these ultimates for the next round. If they have the confidence they can win the team fight without them, that'll be big. Light seems to be setting up for the touch. Should be able to get this one pretty easily, comfortably. But overtime ticks away quickly. And they haven't gone to Doctor Strange. They've got to come back to this point the old-fashioned way. Very difficult to stay alive right now, and Doom already finds one.
Yeah, Light's going to be able to stall this out for quite a while. Just a little touch on the point. Gasly comes back to Captain America's here, baby! Oh, you know it's real! Okay, Vision's going to try and throw some damage down here, and it's good. Cooper and Energy get picked up, and crucially, it's the former. Cooper falling. Impunity able to find him with the right clicks that look to be the case. And Light will fall eventually as that Goddess of Death rains down among FlyQuest. A closer round this one as FlyQuest stick to their guns. But getting rid of Doctor Strange has done very little to slow Shroud X down.
I mean, this is a Shroud X team that is coming
Yo,
right
what's
back
up,
to
Pickling?
Fight Night, gunning for 100 Thieves. They got reverse swept last week, and they want that rematch. They want to show that they are the better team, that they can get that win in the money match. Right now, FlyQuest, flat-footed, They're going to make a full swap. They're going to take the mirror. I like this. I mean, the dive is just clearly not working. StroudX has the answers. They're playing around it way too well. You weren't winning this series on dive. It just wasn't going to happen. So going to the mirror now, for the most part, they have a Loki over the Luna Snow, which is kind of an interesting choice, actually. They really don't have a defensive ult. Loki could copy something, but definitely kind of scary.
I mean, between Vision and Doomed, you've got more combined final blows than the entirety of FlyQuest.
I think
That's
should
obviously
have
pretty problematic. That is very scary. Energy's only been able to find.
noticed the dive was not working off of map 1.
To do that, but Yellow has got to come online. Yellow is obviously got to find these initiations. It's going to be Light actually picking up the Winter Soldier now instead. Jake.
Yes, I did.
Loki on deck for FlyQuest.
Bucket was hyping up Energy on the
Looks
Hela.
pretty good.
See what he's got.
She looks really interesting. The character that actually seems pretty fun.
Takes huge poke walking out, though.
And her character design is different.
So Doomed is going to be able to break these walls oh so easily. Vision stunned up here for a time. Big damage on StroudX. Look at how low Dong
Really
ends
good
up
hook.
going. Oh,
Good wall though.
Scary prospect indeed. Doomed
Counter
gets
hook.
caught out. Now goes for a Kraken impact.
Does get the reset. Yeah, he just kills everybody.
Them aside himself. Doomed finally brought down by Cooper, but 5 eliminations seems to be more than enough. And StroudX, well, they'll have their prize.
They just get a quad with the second use. That was
That's
crazy.
so unlucky.
I was like looking up at the scoreboard. Wait, where'd they go? They just got instantly clapped out of that team fight. FlyQuest gonna come back in.
Bucky's
Now,
so good.
with the Luna Snow ultimate, we'll see if that's enough to give them a bit of an edge here, outlasting in the fight. But StroudX has been solid. They've got good ults of their own. It's just far from an easy retake.
Yeah, FlyQuest, I think, have a better comp now. Jake, they got that Hela group. You've just got to play them. I think going for like a dive core with those two heroes open is just asking for it. Impunity, walls up. It does get caught there by the bionic arm, but Light is not able to pull them through their own wall, so they'll drop to that low ground here and need healing. They're spamming the button. Luna Snow will be tending to Light. Cooper has built that fate of both worlds, and there's a Kraken impact now for FlyQuest's Winter Soldier. And of course, with how the map's evolved, there's now an access point here to climb up to this high ground. The StroudX are chilling. Fidel, it's going to all
That
be
Star-Lord
about
ban
Luna
is
Snow ultimate defensively.
insane.
FlyQuest bringing
That's
in
so
a
annoying to
6-pack.
deal with for Light.
And they're happy to run the clock now. Loki gonna open with a copy. Energy though finds Vision. That's the opening they were looking for. That res comes in quick from the BRB. So StroudX still fighting at full strength, but all 6 ultimates available for FlyQuest.
Here it is.
Nice.
Going in for the Kraken impact.
Good job,
Doom will
Light.
be the first casualty now, and StroudX a little bit late.
You up?
They're gonna start to
Yep.
put some of those defensive ultimates. But
Reset,
Loki is
focus.
active, but Light was already able to find that first elimination.
Nice.
Might get a reset here with Impunity falling. Debuff reapplied now, and the bulwark won't be enough for
Look at that guy's
to
Stranger
keep
though,
FlyQuest
like,
at bay. That's
in that coaching
74%
session?
to 0.
Yeah.
FlyQuest had better get busy.
100%
Nice
charge
that
is
FlyQuest are able
great.
to hold on to both the dance floor from Luna Snow and the Goddess of Death from Hela. Those are big, powerful ultimates that they're gonna frankly need to make the defenses necessary to bring this round back to have a chance here on map 2.
Energy here at the back of the pack. Most of this is speculative. Trying to put pressure down. Heal pressure
That's
down.
great
This
that
forced
it
Fidel enough to
worked.
get busy, maybe force a mistake out of them. Cosmic Gun Amplifier is active right now. FlyQuest don't have access to a Rocket Raccoon of their own here, so have to respect the damage amplification, but Energy is on hunting. Wants to wrap around, but is spotted
1,
out there by
2,
the Winter
3.
Soldier. Will outrange
Ooh.
Doomed, and Rosterstern is not a hit scan weapon.
Holy, what a shot.
Dominates them.
Puckett's biggest fan, rather Energy's biggest fan, Puckett in the call, and I like that he's playing this offing on the Hela. It's a little bit risky. It
Jeez.
does deny.
I'm so
some of the
excited. It was my
frontline
rank up
pressure
2
from the
gold one
team.
too.
But he keeps
Nice.
producing these picks. This is going to start to get scary for StroudX. Abusing this third-person peek, making sure he sees the enemy before they see him. See if he can find another on the walk-up. Hela taking a big risk.
Beautiful. That was beautiful by Energy.
That plan, I mean, that plan was
Okay, Puckett.
Really using that
dirty
third-person
stuff.
peeker's
Vision might
advantage,
be brought
like,
back into the fight, but Nuck won't be
that was
nearly as lucky.
nice.
So StroudX now are down to 5, and that lead that they built up over the first part of the round.
Really using
is
that
all
right side
dissipated to
angle.
nothing.
Very
FlyQuest as
smart.
well can sit back on this Cooper ultimate. Light also has yet another Kraken impact. It's looking very good for the first time this series.
A
for
band
FlyQuest.
starting in gold.
Yeah,
I think
Energy
it's
has kind
good.
of been the hero that FlyQuest needed. They built up another big ultimate.
I
big
think
advantage.
that
StroudX
makes
on
it
retail.
harder
Let's see what they can
for-
work here. They would love to
For
find
people
something, but so far it's
smurfing
been all
per
energy
se.
in the
If
feed.
people are
Now
smurfing
walking
a
out
character
the high
that can
ground under the
super
withering
hard carry
pressure
game
of
is
all that
banned,
spam.
then it might
Both
be
teams
easier for
trying to
players in that
assert their
lower
presence
rank
here on the
to
the point now.
progress.
Big walk up, big crucial fight on the flank.
Oh
Stun in
my
with it.
god,
Still,
Energy.
though, they've lost the Groot. Sparkchief has already
Not
gone
only
down, and
is it
leading
good
around,
for
Dolphin is able to find 2. Kraken
dealing with
impact for Doom,
Smurfs, but I think it's
Doom
just
down,
good
and
overall to
FlyQuest
get people used to it.
maybe just better off
Oh
holding on to these
my
recruits if they can.
god.
As Zelos had already committed the copy for another fate of both worlds, but they are mostly being ignored here. Gaskin, excuse me, stunned up briefly now. Zelos obviously will be brought down. Shroudx able to flip back in the nick of time here.
I think it's good.
Really
I think it's good
important
for
Hela
both
fight. I
ways.
feel like Vision's kill
It's
headline
people in
the
that
whole
lower
engagement,
rank
Jay.
used to it,
Yeah,
or
and the fact
not necessarily lower rank,
that,
but
Doomed was able
at
to
gold,
turn up to the high
used
ground
to these
and
bans, what you're
actually
going to be
trade that Hela out, I
expecting.
think changed everything. The Luna Snow was holding the
It's just
point
so
for quite
things
a
aren't
while.
super
Hela
dominant.
should have had the chance
And with
to
the
free
rank
fire,
level
but Doom
increase,
just turns up, gets the two shot,
15
and that
is fine. I think you
completely
could have
turns
done
around his team's fortune,
20,
secures them the position on
honestly.
point. Now they're trying to hold the high ground, but FlyQuest moving on to the point. Big ultimates once again available to be deployed for
combo
FlyQuest, but
ready?
It feels like the poke fight is more important than ever.
Yeah. Impunity has
A lot
the
of
prison
combos
here,
ready.
Trying to stave up the poke damage. Is going to get prison first
Yep.
though by Spark Chief.
The
Impunity
combo.
desperately trying to stay alive. Here goes the fate of both worlds though. Vision trying to pepper the players playing on the periphery. Say that.
Vision
three
had
times
to
fast.
focus
Got
Loki
some
there.
decent damage at least there with that Goddess of Death. But now
Yeah.
looking towards Energy. He'll do
Burn
the
it.
same.
Good
Now gonna
burn.
pop that ultimate. They're going to be brought out of the sky after a very short stint, very
Ooh,
short-lived moment.
really
there
good
for
by
big damage,
Energy.
but Energy's playing an off angle. Gets rid of Doom.
Nice.
This is an important fight, and Spark Chief has
Good
gone down.
refrag.
It's a 1-for-1 trade. Both teams down to 5, Jake.
Vision looking to come up big here. The flank.
We
on the
almost
fight,
have
both
Mag
everything
ults.
potentially. Stun comes in connected from Energy, but Vision
Mag
still
ult might be
fighting
everything
strong, still
here.
dueling. Meteor M over the
He
top.
lands
No
a really
games
good
can
meteor.
follow up
A
through
beautiful
that.
meteor.
And that shuts down Vision. Now Energy's
Beautiful
time to shine
meteor.
here, uncontested in the Hela duel on the point. Difficult for the tanks to stay here and fight it out, but
You
they're
do
not
have
giving
ults
up
though
yet
on
Shroudx.
Shroudx side.
Shroudx though lost a player, need to get Fidel
Good.
back in position. They've actually got their ultimate online. Fate of both
What?
worlds are coming out from Shroudx upstairs.
Good
Imperity's
reset.
trying to go. Energy has fallen.
reset.
Shroudx able to fight back into this engagement now as Doomed is getting the resets when he needs them. Fidel's ultimate still ticking. Healing
Nice
still coming
resets.
in. Gaston on the way out, and Zelos gets absolutely
Nice.
flattened. Doomed
Oh
once
my
again
God.
takes over the game, and Shroudx in unlikely
Wow.
fashion clinched the round to take a second map.
All right, Shroudx may have won that map, but Puckett, you've won. Energy has won one more fan in me, man. He was dominating in that Hela mirror for the most part. Once he brought the hero out, it really felt like a change of pace. However, I think Doomed was the difference maker in that map. Here he is, snagging the map MVP on the Winter Soldier. I guarantee he has some ridiculous stat line here on the scorecard.
Oh,
Yeah, just 21,000 damage.
Pretty
Just
bloody good.
over the next enemy player by 7,000. It's
21,
all good.
21.
That is
Jeez.
Impressive stuff out of Doom. 26-5, 19
finally.
final blows. Uber, I was trying to do the math on the other side. It's like, yo, he basically did what the other team did.
Yep. Only a few off. Pretty scary stuff. I mean, those picks are so important. I mean, again, we talk about Hela, how her setting up those fights is so crucial. But man, Doomed, the Winter Soldier kit is so important. Basically, you can take.
I think
anyone down and pull them
FlyQuest-
out of position. Great song for Shroudx.
The second
they were behind in
on
that last fight.
the
They had to
first
come
point
back
of
and there was no
Koth, I
time
think
for
the
them.
second they saw
Huge
that
part
dive
of it.
wasn't working
Man,
because of
love
Bucky,
that big Kraken impact.
they swap
Doomed
off of
was
it.
ridiculous.
Now, we
Even
haven't
though
seen a
Namor's
reversal. We've
banned,
seen
I
Shroudx
think we
go
have
up
to swap
2-0,
off
Jake.
that.
And then someone comes storming back. But
don't
they're
think it's
also
good.
one game away from getting their rematch against
Playing-
100 Thieves. Let's revisit some of the
Playing
best
dive
moments.
into a
Energy
very
winning
good
that
Winter
whole fight
Soldier
over
is
Vision.
just pain.
Highlight for me because I rarely get predictions right. But I think you look at the squads as a whole. Vanguard's much stronger for Shroudx. At
Oh
least the support is
my
constant.
god.
I don't think I've seen a full feed like that for Winter Soldier before. You know, I think what's interesting about this series, though, despite it being 2-0 for Shroudx, I do feel that the momentum has shifted. I mean, look at the first
That's really
3
smart by
rounds of the
Light.
game, you know, and it was just kind of one-sided, right? Shroudx
What do you
was
think
in
the
full
passive
control.
is
They
for
lost
Emma
point a couple
Frost?
times, but for the most part, they're pretty
What do you
decisively
think the
winning those
passive
rounds.
is? Let me see.
Energy comes out on the Hela.
I
gets
think,
many kills back to back to back is like putting the team on his
pull
back,
her
frankly. And you know, I think now I can't imagine Energy's going to be getting off the Hela at this point. Honestly, I mean, this is next level, but if I were a Shroudx coach, I would try to ban Hela because I feel like this is kind of their one hope right now is that Energy can keep popping off, can turn the series around more or less on his own, or that the rest of the team can gain momentum off of the back of that and you know, find some way to get into this.
So when you
Without
look
Energy's
at
knowledge, I haven't seen too much else, frankly, from Flight that's really
as
setting
she
Shroudx back.
shoots,
Uber, if I get rid of Winter Soldier,
as
are we
she
fine?
shoots,
Is Doom nullified or neutralized?
the charge goes up,
It's going to be like a Sparker
I mean,
scenario where he's just
are
going
you-
to keep evolving and shape-shifting.
dealing
on me.
damage
Are
builds
you
the
banning it in
charge.
the actual pick ban, or are you removing it from the game? Because if
It's
you
the
pick ban it,
passive.
then we have no more. So
Big ban.
yeah,
What if I
okay,
get
I mean,
rid of Luna and Winter Soldier.
It has to be
Okay, I mean, you probably end up getting like
either
Loki
more
hits,
damage, like
that coincides, right? And you
Doctor
probably end up getting,
Strange.
like,
You
the
build up that
more
passive
still that
by
comes in.
dealing
Also,
damage,
like there are some maps
and you like
just
let out a
Path, including one of
burst.
them, where you can lean into a
Or
Punisher
not.
flex.
But I
Maybe
really
also
like this
Punisher
because she has
last,
like two forms. I
Jeff.
think this is a very unique character.
Jeff,
Or the Jeff bucket. Thank
The
you.
Tanuki came out on this map.
Character with
It's
two
the only
different
Jeff
forms
we
is
have
it really
seen in professional Marvel
really
Rivals
unique.
play. It was done by OG Esports, one of Europe's finest squads, Tanuki, the greatest Wolverine in Europe, teaching us that Jeff should play DPS.
maybe longer
Jeff
time
is
in
viable.
diamond
He just
form?
is a
Maybe.
duelist, though. That's the challenge with Jeff. You know, they mislabeled him as a strategist, but
That's
we
it.
all know. All the Jeff
I mean,
fans know.
I know Venom is very jealous of Jeff's ult. I'll be real with you. Like Venom does not want to spit those mofos out. He do not want to put him back on the cart, but he got it because he has indigestion. You know what I mean? He's taken Nexium and it's still not doing the job. So, you know, Jeff has different physiology though. Somehow.
Very
and he's able
interesting.
to take them with him.
I
But there's no
I
way
will
to this
definitely
you know
like
what I mean?
play her
That's-
and
that's-
try to get a
what do you
guide out
take
when I
people after
can.
you eat them?
Like
what's
she
the-
actually looks like a
mean,
actually besides being like
There's
extra
a lot of
thick.
sides on this one.
There's
Her
a
as a
couple-
character
I think
seems
There's a
very
far
interesting.
left on the first point, Mitch. There's a
I feel like you need a Sherpa to help
opportunities
you
here.
find parts of the map that you can actually jump off of and end up, you know.
I'll show you all of the places
show
that you
me.
can suicide. I'm
Bucket,
really
are
good
you a
at
Jeff
falling
main
off the
bucket?
map.
Is this how you're coming out to us as a Jeff main?
No, but I did go back and watch that game actually on my cell phone, and I was just showing a buddy at work. I was like, "We're doing this. We're gonna learn to Jeff like this guy." No, it all came down to the ultimate. He didn't really contribute a whole lot until that ult, and then the ult threw the entire enemy team off. That was one team out of all the Marvel Rivals professional squads we've seen. I don't expect it right now. If we
I
get
usually get
Shroud
guides out
and
on
Blue
all the
Dog,
new characters
Shroud,
as fast as I
good for
can.
I think like Nemoris needs banned on this map. He's just very, very powerful because there are a lot of these like L-shaped turns on this map where Namor tends to put Monstro spawn on the opposite wall and then let the sort of enemy sort of walk out. Now again, if you weren't born yesterday, like you will clear those out, right? But it also opens up a terrifying combination with Groot. The problem is if you ban Namor, there's another terrifying combination with Groot. You just crack an impact into the prison. You just crack an impact into it. And would you believe there are multiple abilities in this game that affect over a wide area? There's a lot of ways you can combo with that Groot ultimate. So like, I think letting him through that previous game was, I mean, that really lets Shroud X go to work. I don't think you want to let them have the Groot. And if Groot and Hela are open, you have to play them. I don't want to see Spider-Man. I don't want to see Venom.
See what it does
If you wanna
specifically?
win,
Oh yeah,
right,
definitely.
play Groot Hela if they're open. You have to.
It was a game 1 and 2 spider throw. We've all had that in our
I
lives.
mean, good.
So-
I mean,
I've
good.
seen your recent
Oh,
history.
I've had that in my lobby.
Are you
I've
Diamond
definitely
1
had
yet?
that. I think I'm GM1. I think I'm like 23 and 2 in GM.
Crushing it.
I need to play some more. I need to play
game.
some more to hit Celestial. I've been busy casting.
Yeah, you guys are pretty good at your jobs. I like get off at 10 o'clock when my wife takes the toddler, and I just have been no lifing till 2, 3 a.m. Someone's asking, Puckett, did you get a black eye?
Don't
He's
you
like,
have to get
"No."
up for the toddler in the morning though?
So she actually, once she's down, when she's finally down, it's like she's knocked out. Like someone
That's why
gave
I
her
don't
some
game.
Benadryl.
I'm up at 6 every day for the kids. That's crazy.
You
Yeah,
sure?
that's great. I don't know how you get away with that. That's something else.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure if
something
it's
Yeah,
like
same
a
for me,
first
guys.
look at the
Same for me.
character or
The
All
ones
those
you know.
kids I got.
what exactly it
Jake was more
is.
careful than us. Congratulations, State Farm. Well done.
Wait, wasn't he just playing him off? What are you talking about? Wasn't more careful. He's got more resources, Puckett.
My guy. Well
Jeez.
done. Well
He's like
done.
I make
that
all
NBA
required
star.
child
Let's throw
support
down.
payments. I make
throw
all
down
required child support payments that are asked of me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I
my
mean,
guy.
but Jake pays him up front, like that NBA star that we just heard about recently. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to worry about it. Back to gaming, back to casting. I
We
respect
need
it.
Matt Mr. X to come let me know which NBA star we're talking about. Back to FlyQuest, though. And they are against the ropes. It's time to bounce back. Not with the Spider-Man in the comp. Will they make use of their bans? Winter Soldier,
Okay.
thank you.
So-
Thank you. That's what I want. No
Or does
duel
it balance
on Winter
out with your
Soldier.
bans in gold, in
It's a
your
bit of a
opinion?
Yes. Okay. Now they're
Even
winning.
though
I am going to be
that's
the
a great
future GM of
question.
FlyQuest.
Um,
I like this ban phase. Actually, this is exactly what I would have done if I was FlyQuest. I mean, it's a bit unconventional from a meta perspective, but I think you have to look beyond that as FlyQuest right now. You just have to play for what is working for you, shut down the biggest threat on Shroud-X, which
Great
right now,
question.
or at least so far in the series, has been doomed.
So
Now
in my
Shroud-X
opinion,
falls
I
in
think
their
they
court, see how they
reset.
respond. They're gonna
I
grab
think they
them
should.
more,
I think the
but I think this is
9
expected. I think FlyQuest saw this
rank
coming.
reset is
And frankly, I
fine.
think it's probably gonna
But
be
what I
that
would have
Hella
liked
plus
to seen
Namor
is the
poke
reset and then placement matches.
I mean, and this is going to tell you no to the dive
Having
even
a
more so, right?
competitive
You play
game
Namor,
without competitive
and then
matches,
you'll
in
go
my
to
opinion,
ban
is kind of
and a Warlock.
insane.
So forget about trying to Star-Lord into the backline.
Sure, in the
There's no
short run,
diving
it might be
anymore.
nice. You want
Looks
people
like
to
an
play the
advantage
game
to
as
them. I mean,
fast as
obviously that's a very
possible,
high throughput
get their
hero
ranks,
that's
to
taken off the
start
table, but
grinding
you can
ranked.
go to the well
I
of
think the
strategies
second you
and find
removed
plenty to
placements,
work
it
with here.
becomes
It's gonna be
very,
interesting. We see
very
a lot of
odd.
these very powerful heroes getting banned
But
out.
hopefully they
Fuck it, you're
do
getting
reset
everything
like
you
ranks
asked for
at
here.
every half season as well.
Real quick, so with the Luna gone, right, you're not going to be able to survive a lot of the main ultimates. More importantly, a lot of like the one-shot combos, if they wanted to run a Namor, not going to be available with the Luna damage boost. You're not going to get the one-shot ultimate. Also, no Namor Icy Monstro. The guy's kind of worthless. I'll be honest. At this level,
mean,
there's better options.
not having
Let's
placements
go
is
to a
just, like,
Star-Lord, White says.
Hard.
I agree with that. I mean, again, like having one less Monstro spawn on that cooldown rotation is actually huge in terms of just your ability to constantly have at least a spawn on the battlefield. Playing Star-Lord, though, without the karmic sort of cocoon revival option, though, is going to be a little bit scary.
Means you down to
have to play
plat too. That
a little
sucks.
bit
I mean, it's not the
differently,
end of the
Jake.
world.
Can't be nearly as aggressive.
I was there
So interesting that both teams
once
have actually
before,
had
so
the same read here as far as what the comp is. I mean, this is
at
pretty
least I'll
unconventional
pick
but
bans.
Both teams here queuing up the same lineup, and it's going to be Loki and Invisible Woman on the strategist. I think that's particularly interesting here.
Okay,
We're gonna see
FlyQuest
a
on
lot of
attack.
copied Invisible Woman ults,
Wait,
real
no,
Invisible
I'm
Woman
stupid.
ults.
Right,
Every kind of invisible
Shroud-X on
barrier.
attack,
And honestly,
FlyQuest
a
on
lot of pressure
defense,
on these
mirror
Star-Lords,
comp.
No rest. Typically, we always see Star-Lord with that res team up, and in this comp, you go down, you're dead.
Not just that, Jake. I mean, Star-Lord's ultimate needs line of sight, which is denied by Invisible Barrier. So if you're Star-Lord and you're trying to play against two Invisible Woman ultimates, you have to get most of your
Good.
kills the
Ian,
old-fashioned
build
way,
up that
right?
ult
Go with
charge.
the Bulwark shield, give the the cooldown reset over to your Magneto,
Doomed.
try and do some damage with the Blaster Flourish, and then
And light.
try and assassinate people outside of ult, or try and find a window where no invisible boundary is available.
She I really want to try her
Realistically, I
though.
think these
She
Star-Lords
definitely
just
looks like an
farming
interesting
damage, doing
character.
whatever frontline pressure they can. I think more
Am I
pressure's
Frost?
on the Hellas to find something, to find the
If she
opening.
plays how I
Their
think
team's
she's
Achilles
gonna
heel
play,
and
then
their
she'll
biggest
probably
threat.
be
This
like my
Woman Barrier
favorite
already comes down copied
Vanguard
there
in the game.
from Shroud-X.
Yeah, I mean, Nuck builds the ultimate first, which is pretty crazy. All right, here we go. We of course heard that now because the Galactic Legend available.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Can you absorb well enough? Dude, absorb well.
Plenty of healing. Here's the second Invisible Woman ultimate out from FlyQuest, and Doomed is holding on to the Galactic Legend until now. It's time to go in with this.
Bronze value Smurfs will be minimal. Dude, because people will focus on mains. Yeah, probably. That's probably the best time to climb is right when the season restarts. Because people will be focused on their main rather than their ults.
Down after an unsuccessful foray with that ultimate. Now still wants to throw damage into a Blaster Barrage and keep that heal pressure
Ooh,
up.
Doom
Gotta see that from Vision
lives.
over the top. This could be backbreaking. No more defensive utility here for FlyQuest, and they're dropping like flies. All this spam coming in over the top, cleaning up the Loki clones as
How
well.
are we going
That should
down
be a
here?
first point take. It all comes down to that energy dropping there. I mean, both teams so survivable. Honestly, very difficult for either team to find a kill. I think more or less, this is just the Hella game. You know, both teams full committed on winning that duel. And despite how that last map went, I mean, so far, Vision has had the better of it here on Yggdrasil Path.
I also think, yeah, Hella's important, right? The pick potential. I also think Meteor M is way more relevant than it normally would be here because it's like one of the few forms of actual burst damage that you have access to, and you can combine it with the Strangling
Exactly what
Prison.
Uber said.
Vision very low here. He's going to be topped up now.
Meteor
Of course,
M
we have
here is
another
very
a
important.
Loki ultimate coming out here. It will be an invisible boundary. You guessed right, folks. Getting popped here by Nuck. Cooper has one available as well. Here's the prison that comes down. What's the follow-up going to look like? Pretty decent damage, but as an invisible
Really good
ultimate here for
Groot
FlyQuest.
ults.
Can't believe it.
I don't
Now we're
think
gonna have
we
the second
capitalize
invisible
on it,
ultimate
though.
fight here for Shroud-X. The huge
Nice.
Because
Go.
Isharem is still, though, will be burst through. Shroud-X and the Hela, like you mentioned, able to overcome that healing over time.
That's so huge. They're able to get the focus fire on the Invisible Woman there. I was expecting that fight to go very long, very deep. I think both teams were, but the target focus is good enough from FlyQuest. Gets them that pick off. Now Shroud-X on the reset. Let's see how they take entrance into this next fight. FlyQuest oppressing them from this high ground, from the off angle. very difficult to walk
I
up,
wish
very
like
awkward here.
you didn't have to
And
fight
after
Mirror
it,
with a
Energy
really good shot
opens
by
right
Energy, a
onto Doom,
headshot too.
domed him out of the air.
Nice shot here. Big damage being taken by ShroudX. They have to regroup here. FlyQuest hoping for a little bit more, maybe stagger something out, but Light needs to respect.
I wish you didn't
the
have to
damage
counter
even from
one comp
5
with a mirror
attacking
comp.
players.
There has to be
They
something
pull out
else.
there on that Star-Lord. And of course, we are gonna have an
It's
invisible
just
boundary up
playing
on both
into
sides, so you will
Loki
never have a
Invis
fight
is
really
so
without
brutal.
either team having an invisible woman ultimate.
It's such
always gonna
a-
come down to how you cut through that. Here it
Oh
comes.
my
But
god,
actually gonna go
Energy.
down. Okay, well, the invisible
Orphan.
woman ultimate would have come from Nuck anyway. Doom being really conservative about using that.
I'm
ult
mad
as
sad that they're nerfing my
Yeah,
Go
it's so
Adam
hard to
Soul
get
Bomb.
in and
It's
get
been my
value,
support main
especially
since
with all the
season
tanking
0.
potential from
Yeah,
FlyQuest.
it's
I wanna see ShroudX take
they're
a different
nerfing it
angle.
because
They
the
keep
triple
walking
res
up
comp
main,
is so
and they
strong
keep
in high
getting
level
shut down.
play.
There's really
It's
no
literally like you
pressure
have
on
to
this-
play the
this
res comp or
defensive
you just
hella.
like lose most of the
Nicely
time.
done. Light is able to get into that back line.
That's the
There it
one
failed.
thing
The one hero that can actually stop him.
I
Get
miss
through the
about being in a
Loki.
low
He would have
rank.
copied, of course, an
Like,
invisible
not
barrier.
saying gold is low,
And
but
Doom
like
looking to go in here. FlyQuest
generally
able to stave off
at the
ShroudX
low
yet
rank you
again.
can play
A great
whatever you
round.
want and get away with it. But the high ranks you
We just
have
gotta
to
give this Energy
pretty
guy
much
some
play
camp
meta.
time. This guy
It
keeps
gets a
getting
little bit
kills.
annoying.
He's just smoking them on the walk-ups here. ShroudX so far unable to break this chokehold. I mean, the setup looks really well practiced from FlyQuest. Everyone
Because
in position.
how
Now ShroudX, okay, they
strong
are gonna
the
take
soul
different
bond
approach.
is in
Gotta
that
be the
triple
high
res
ground
comp
lock.
is just brutal.
What are they waiting for, though?
That's so too.
They're gonna strange TP, so they're gonna try and flip the map with a strange TP from Doomed.
Okay, through the portal we go. So we are going to flip the map, like you said, at least get towards the backside and give some high ground access here.
Just
This is
have
going to be a
it.
little bit uncomfortable for FlyQuest, but ShroudX have opted for this
You went
because
triple
it's the only way they feel
tank?
they can break this setup. Someone's trying to abuse the TP, and I think that might have been Energy. That drew Vision out of position for the time being, but here comes that strangling thought prison coming in.
What just happened on my screen?
DRM doesn't quite connect. Playing inside, though, that invisible boundary means that ShroudX had all the healing they needed. Now, though, not so much. This is scary. Dongmin gets rolled.
I went
out.
against
Gaskell
some
able to
good
find
res
the
comps
down,
at
but
gold
Vision is there.
too.
He always seems to be.
To be fair, I was triple queuing up still.
Playing safely outside of the boundary for
Went
the
against
time
some
being,
good
Vision
res
not
comps
ready
at
to
gold
fully
too.
commit.
I mean,
ShroudX have the
it's
numbers
just
and they're
how
trying to do
strong
this
the
card,
res
but that's
comp
the issue.
is.
It is behind all of FlyQuest. They're refusing to move, and FlyQuest going to win another fight out here.
Jeez,
Even an artful
Energy is going
teleport
crazy.
behind the defenders is not enough to
Actually
unseat them.
going insane.
I love that reaction from FlyQuest. They say,
It was
okay, you know what,
actually
you
the
get
final
strange portal,
boss.
We're gonna flip the map, but we have the ultimates to still fight you. We're not gonna give you card control. We're not gonna allow you to pull it away from us. Doomed now pretty
That
close.
TP
ultimate
behind
gonna
was
go
so
over to the
weird.
Psylocke,
FlyQuest
and
really
ShroudX
did
feels like they're
really good
grasping
absorbing
at
that.
straws. I mean, FlyQuest looks like they've tactically mastered this position on this map, and I like the idea conceptually of a style. Like maybe you can
Swapping
get
to
in and force people
Psylocke?
down, but with the way Energy has been playing, I mean, that's far from.
I believe their Star Lord was in
backline.
backline, no one shot him, and he went 50 and
No,
0.
it doesn't feel great
Oh.
at all. See if it works out. Doom can obviously be a bit of a nuisance. Pretty sticky
Good
threat.
hell
Here's the
ults.
Goddess of Death. Decent
And it's
sight
gone.
lines here, but a bit of it that gets counted out, and there's also Rejuvenation Domain active, so FlyQuest invulnerable in that window. Vision just cancels it, says, oh, I've got to get back to work. I need to, just start
Doomed
chipping away
could
this
do something with
front
his
line like I'm off
ultimate
the
here.
coal mines. Doomed here, close to a dance of the butterfly now, but is there an opportunity to get big value off of it? We're going to hear an ultimate copy now. Of course, invisible boundary drawn once more. There is a Galactic Legend in play. And that's Cooper just trying
Yeah,
not to go
Star-Lord's in a
too
good
aggressive here.
They're making a lot of
That's option
changes
one that
still,
popped that
so
Star-Lord
we'll see
ultimate.
how they
Here's
go.
the Meteor M. We need a burst kill. Oh, the
Ooh,
combo! It's
nice.
perfect. From outer orbit, Gaskin is able to nuke Fidel, and Doom got caught inside
Good
that
bubble
as well.
onto
FlyQuest, now they deal with
Delos.
an ultimate of their own coming from the
Invis.
enemy group, but there's not enough follow-up for ShroudX. Dongmin gets the one. They get rid of Cooper, but they need so much more. Cooper gets res back into the fight because of the team up with Hella and Energy.
The thing is, when
And
it comes to the
return
soul
FlyQuest
bond,
to 5 players, Jake.
Okay, Energy went down one time this map on first point, and they lost the fight. Then Energy was
The only thing,
enraged
they might
and
increase,
slaughtered
like,
ShroudX for the next
how long
5
it
minutes
takes
in
for it to
one
come back
exact
up,
spot
if
on the map.
anything,
They just couldn't make any
depending on how they
progress
nerf
there.
it.
That's
I don't know if
impressive
they
stuff
really
from
nerf
FlyQuest. I'm sort of
the
wondering if
damage or the
ShroudX, like,
healing absorption, but
this is the spot you're in
I
now,
don't
though,
know.
because what are you going to change from a ban perspective? You know, are you going to not first ban Wolverine? That opens up a whole new can of worms that you seem to be not ready for with you constantly first banning it.
I have an update, everybody. Energy is the best hell in North America. Goodbye.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely expected the polling to adjust a little bit there. Energy with 7 final hits. Doomed with 0. So that's been part of the issue here, I think, for ShroudX, is that, Doomed, who's been so fantastically good on that Winter Soldier, forced in a position now where they've got to try and make things happen on, on a Star-Lord that doesn't have the Adam Warlock backup. It's been really difficult for them. Whereas, like, Energy obviously has had a great game on the Hela. And even Light's been doing a heck of a lot. We talked about how hard it will be for the Star-Lord to get kills against this composition, Jake, but Light's been able to do it, finding those openings.
Okay, it's going to be a mix-up here from Shroud X. They're loading up here on the triple strategist setup with Doomed solo duelist on Hela. Let's see if he's got what it takes to take it to Energy. I mean, frankly, I think Energy, despite not having like a crazy damage stat line, he's not playing for max damage. He's just playing to always win duels, always find picks on the flank. Like, he's not shooting Vanguards. He doesn't care about it. He's playing 100% for the kills, for the openings, for the impact frags. I think that's exactly what he needs to do here.
Energy, of course, just wrapping really wide here for a flank. And obviously able to benefit from that invisible wind shield. Can put good pressure down at long range here, but again, you are a long way away. Light ends up getting taken down by Dongmin, so Shroud X able to stave off that Star-Lord. FlyQuest down just the one duelist here, and definitely looking to pressure Doom down, the solo duelist for the side of Shroud X, but there's so much healing available for them. Their front line is going to be ultra durable. Vision also can masquerade as a damage dealer, of course.
Probably gonna be like 45-second cooldown, knowing how they nerfed Hela on Hawkeye.
So FlyQuest are still waiting for Energy to get a key pick and then to get out.
I'm trying to get some more like subscribers on YouTube so I can become a Marvel Rivals partner or part of the creator program, so I can actually get like access to characters early. They can really like understand them.
Trying to hang in that front line duel once again.
And I really want to see the buffs already so I can get a video started, but I can't until everyone else gets it. Unfortunately.
Get me on the Hela, he says, my Star-Lord is not really cutting the mustard right now. We can honestly just lead a lot of clop by having an absurd amount of healing.
I actually like this strat from them. I agree with you. I don't think Star-Lord is really impactful. There's way too
I
many
like this
counters to the
adaptation
ultimate, from
though.
Meteor M to all the strategist ultimates. Might as well run an extra strategist and Vision.
This is a very interesting adaptation to this ult.
This is like God mode Hela, getting
That'd be
all
very
the
cool.
resources from the
Yeah, I
strategist
mean,
able to be a
you need
huge carry
10,000
threat.
subscribers. I
They even
applied.
come in and dance around on the
In a
Star-Lord,
waiting
but
game now.
Not a huge threat. Dogman has the Meteor M to potentially shut down the ultimate, but they pop the Meteor M. Hold on, Star-Lord could get something done.
Wait a minute, there's no strategist ultimates used by Shroud X yet. Fidel holds that
Great
too
combo.
long. Tried, I think, to go for an invisible boundary, but I don't even know where it's supposed to be here. Vision,
That'd be very cool.
Yeah. Shroud X unlikely to lose another player, but maybe they just get a bit greedy, waiting on that ultimate a little bit too long. Energy is down though, so Hela now taken out of the game for
Oh my
FlyQuest.
god, what's happening on my
Hoping to come
screen?
forward to make something happen, but invisible boundary for FlyQuest here. This is going to keep them running in this fight. Dude obviously is looking to put some more pressure down because Impunity is getting hammered.
Yeah, I'm also curious about all
Just
the new
trying to stay
team
alive.
ups.
No ultimates to be deployed for Shroud X. Impunity charges up that strangling prison. This could be backbreaking though for FlyQuest as they walk up. They do have that low-key immortality rune keeping them up for the moment, but Doomed is just unstoppable here, getting the full buff-offs from those strategists, continuing to fight on the cart. The position is very tenuous here for Shroud X, but they're holding on.
Okay, not so bad for Shroud X. They are in this. Light eventually goes down. Doomed is delivering on the promise they made. It's a big ask to get your team to change comp so you can be put in a position to succeed, but they are paying back on that investment big time. However, it's a matter of big ultimates coming up here for Shroud X. There aren't a whole lot. Nak, of course, was able to go on with the copy there. But FlyQuest will return now with the Galactic Legend that won't
Looks like a
necessarily be
good
counted.
flank at
Never
angle.
mind, it's Marvel Rivals. There's a visible boundary thrown up to shut down this Star-Lord ult.
It's a
Yeah,
really good
strategist on
angle.
Shroud X, trying to bridge that gap. Nuck extremely close, has the copy energy, looking to find something, but doesn't get it in the
That
initial moments of the trade.
lamp was alright.
Ultimates
I don't like
starting
the
to come down
position
from
of
Shroud
it.
X, trying to hold on to
What?
this defense. Dongmin,
That
ever
connects?
basketball player on this Magneto, gets the slam dunk onto
No
Light.
way
That's
that
one more
connects.
pickoff.
In what
Shroud X in the
world?
lead.
Okay. There's Vision getting pretty busy about it now as Energy's trying, hoping
Really
to
good
find something
ults.
with this Goddess of Death, but there's so much healing available for Shroud X. A Soul
The
Resurgence
triple
is now in
strategist
play.
comp.
The triple strategist to put FlyQuest to bed. Of all the BM ways you could do it, Shroud X here would be getting revenge and advancing to the money match all in one fell swoop. Light to switch over
Come
towards the Venom,
on.
whatever it takes to get them there, but Narc has yet another
Nice.
got a trickery, excuse me. Now they can play, of course, inside this rejuvenation domain, but Shroud X have to respect the pressure FlyQuest are coming in with now. Narc's ultimate's
Good
going to
pick.
time out soon. Fidel, they're brought down. Doom tries to push up now, need to find some damage somewhere. Light goes low, but they haven't gotten rid of this Venom, and FlyQuest are going to
Nice.
break through at the final moment in
Solid.
overtime, get themselves that checkpoint.
The overwhelming pressure just barely gets it done over that triple strategist setup.
Very good
Very
staggers
little
too,
to
so they can
here, 2
push
minutes on the
pretty
clock. This is gonna
far.
be a difficult regroup for Shroud
We
X.
are
You
gonna
cannot
stay on the
afford to lose
triple
any
tank.
players now.
But I think this
You
is
should be able to get
perfect.
one team fight here, but it's so difficult, and you've got to just
If
win
FlyQuest
everything
can
back to back
get
from here on
one
out.
early pick, I think it's
man.
like over.
Good bleed of clock for Shroud X, but they really didn't get far through the
Based
map
on like the
themselves.
ultimates,
FlyQuest, I mean, look at the barrier. It's right there.
because we have Groot ults and they have
Finish
no
line is right in
counters.
front of them now. FlyQuest know it. They can
If
also try
Dogman
and
somehow
target
eats
fight
the
off with
ult,
a big Groot ultimate here. Impunity
he
falls, and
doesn't use
FlyQuest
it.
have got the
Oh
momentum.
my
Energy
god.
starts to tear them limb from limb. That is 3 knockouts in a row for the Hela, and there's no way you're coming back from that one. Shroud X so close to ending the series, but we're going to a 4th map.
I like that strat from Shroud X. I think it came out at the perfect moment, but it just wasn't enough. Energy was
What do you think Light is on
undeniable
Star-Lord?
in that map.
Because
Scores
the
a 4
adaptation
point on
that
the board there for
Shroud's
FlyQuest.
team made,
And Shroud X, I wonder if they're starting to
he
have
was on it,
some, you know, traumatic memories.
but
at
they
this
swapped
moment
to
in the
triple
series.
heal, and
They
playing
got
triple
reverse
heal,
swept
like,
in the champion match
as
last
Star-Lord's,
week
like,
on
pain.
Rivals Fight Night. This is
Is
the
it
beginning of
invisible?
that
Nah,
potentially.
it's
However, they still have
they
2 more
swapped
maps,
to
2 more
triple
map
strategist,
picks
and that's
to
just
take
like
us to
miserable.
where they should have the advantage.
I can't be getting reverse swept again, bro. Like, that is just
That would be too
devastating. Oh boy, man. I mean, good to see that. I guess the triple strategist here for you know, a while. I want to point out that, you know, Vision's able to put down a really
Like,
respectable
Indiswoman
amount of
is,
damage
like,
after they
a
still,
thing.
like, stay
Like,
in the race.
can be a factor,
Light goes over to the Venom just to try,
but it's
and
mainly the
triple
fact it's
Vanguard,
triple
you know, the
strategist.
bulk that masses FlyQuest are finally able to get across the line. I will
At least
say,
that's what I
man,
see
they really
it.
had to work for it. This Shroud X team, despite a little bit of a lackluster attack side, put some real pressure down on.
Because I feel like every time you try to
That
ult a
was a lot of
Star-Lord,
fun.
you just get
It's
out-healed.
Almost like you could see the math adding up, and then when they did the math, Jake, they got the solution they wanted. Can you do it twice in a row though? Because, like you said, they seem to be figured out towards the end of that one. It was a nearly stop on point 1.
And what I'm wondering is, I mean, does Light have the flexibility to match if it is the case that these ban picks take us to that triple strategist meta, which I kind of feel that way despite Shroud X losing. I felt, you know, if they had figured that out on round 1, we could have seen a very
This looks like
different map
Shroud's
overall
team
Angel Path.
doesn't
And now
know
they
any
also have the
comp
map pick in their
besides
favor now, going
Hella
forward for the rest of the series,
Bucky.
so they have yet more control. I wonder, I mean, I've
Maybe
seen Vision,
Wolverine
we've
they
seen
know,
Vision
but I'm
on
not
Adam
sure.
Warlock playing for the Star-Lord team up. Now we've seen him on the Mantis. He has a lot of flexibility. For Light, does he have the strategist to match if that is where we need to go? Or maybe there's a world where FlyQuest, maybe I'm overreacting and they can just still win with the Star-Lord, but just didn't feel like the Star-Lord had so much impact, at least with the way the bans went in that last map on Yggdrasil Path.
We want to give a big shout out to Intel and also let all potential sponsors know that we are available for hire. Quasar, do me a favor. Do a little montage of my prediction on Energy being a great Hela player, then going on to go to the picks and bans. They get rid of Doom's Winter Soldier. They get rid of the Luna to counter the Namor. They protect the Hela. They walk away with their one and only win of the night. It's done from here because Shroud X gets to pick the map. But I saw this one coming from a mile away. And now DraftKings,
I still don't understand
you
how
can
that
get me
connected.
as a
In a Lambo.
specialist to come up with the
I don't understand how that
finest
Meteor M
odds from
connected
our
onto
folks
Light.
on Rivals Fight Night. I swear there's no
Oh my
conflict
God.
of interest. I have no connection to
No,
production or the people who run
The
the
triple
games.
headshot
Back
before
to
the
highlights,
Grudol
that was,
Grudol
pretty
fully
fun,
went
though.
off.
It took a few, but we got to a very close game. I don't want to see domination back in this series, but we might be seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, Hell's Heaven still obviously in the map pool. You can go there. I think Jake makes a really important point. FlyQuest have now found, I think, like a ban strategy that seems to work. Clearly, Doomed wants to play the Hela, and Shroud X have 2 very good Hela players, right, between Vision and Doomed. But they just got forced into a triple strategist, which I don't think allows them to have that skill expression that they can with, you know, double duelists. So I'd be shocked if they didn't run back the same strategy. Shroud X might consider being more lenient on some of their own bans here. Clearly, Namor is just not an option when Lunar Snow is off the table. So you have to think or figure out another duelist option. Psylocke is there, but honestly, like in any situation, like Psylocke, I really
If
feel
I see
like
Dom,
needs that
I'm gonna
team
be
up of her
annoyed.
own to be really powerful, right? The Psionic Disc to recall, but you have to team up with Magik for that, and it's too restrictive on your team building. You want a team up that requires a duelist to be matched up with like a particular strategist, for example. That's the least restrictive on your team building. And that's what these teams are leaning into. That's why Namor we didn't see, because Luna was off the table. That's why Star-Lord doesn't look nearly as good without Adam Warlock being available to you. Those team ups are really the crux of building a strong strategy in Marvel Rivals, and when you don't have access to them, sometimes those loose heroes without team up potential after bans are just not looked at.
Unfortunately, we have to go to break. If you want to listen to more Uber, he will read you books at night. Also, Jake and I will come to your birthday party. We're good at yacht parties. We will come hang out wherever you're from. All you got to do is pay for it and put some money in our bank account, right, Jake?
As long as you have a boat, I am there.
You never said what
pretty
kind of
mouth.
boat.
We'll be back.
I have to mute this, otherwise I get copyright striked. GG. Check this out again.
The White Queen's reign begins. You deserve that, dear. Mind crush! You were beneath me. Impervious! Pathetic. How embarrassing. Kneel, peasants! That's White Queen mind control.
Koa as well. Now we got a brief look at her primary in the Dev Vision update, kind of Scarlet Witch kind of vibes, yeah. And then there's the shield ability from the video.
You were beneath me.
Okay, all right. They always do such a good job on these trailers, like really hyping up the character. Oh god, oh so she's in diamond form here, and she's going like melee. Oh my sweet mother, Mamma Mia.
How embarrassing.
Yo! Okay, this is the ultimate. Yo, what? What kind of tractor beam?
White Queen mind control.
All right, mother. Okay, let's slow it down. Brick decimates the Groot after a couple of seconds. But at the same time, it looks like she's using her E ability, which if you look close and if we slow it down, she's like pulling the soul crystals out of a designated.
Character looks pretty good. I'm actually gonna end the stream there. I have to do some stuff. I'm gonna edit some videos. I just realized.